Hey, family. Just wanted to hop on here before you hear this next episode, just to take a quick few minutes here just to talk about something that I had missed while we were talking about this Thunderbolts movie, right? That's now out this weekend. One shout out Cinco de Mayo weekend, right? Just put that out there. I'm just kidding. I mean, yeah, I'm just kidding. Well, no, I mean it's Monday, right? But again, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Right, we don't look at it that way, but we do over here. The new Avengers. So the Thunderbolts are now the new Avengers, right? This is a spoiler version, so you know. Excuse me. The new Avengers. From what we know, just from what we've seen, a lot of this is speculation, but and I think a bunch of those people will actually turn into the Dark Avengers, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see how that goes, how they adapt that over time. There's different versions of the Dark Avengers, so we'll see how they play around with that. But the new Avengers right now, in a twist from old Julia Louis-Dreyfus, a.k.a. Allegra de Fontaine, right? As they make the joke on the de Fontaine part there in the movie. Actually, two things. One is this, the other one's about Bucky. Bucky was very good in this movie, right? Bucky Barnes is really good in this movie. It was like in each one of these movies, as they do this Avengers thing here, they're going to pull back the curtain and tie in older folks. Hopefully the young Avengers get their own movie. Because again, it's about tying in the older Avengers, as it's done in the comics anyway. It's tying in the older Avengers with the young kids. So hopefully they don't just mishmash them all into Doomsday and Secret Wars, and then we don't see them anymore. Right? Because these kids deserve their own platform. But this new Avengers thing, right? We'll see how this goes, family, right? So Thunderbolts peels back, and it's not just we are Thunderbolts; we are new Avengers. So we'll see how that goes, how they tie that in, right? You know, Red Guardian with the Wheaties box and all that kind of thing. That was kind of cool. So those are some things that I had missed. I just wanted to talk about. But yeah, Bucky Barnes did really good as a leading role, right? We don't know if they're going to give him his white wolf. If you look in the comics, he becomes like this white wolf kind of character and all that kind of thing. Again, atoning for his sins. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I just wanted to mention that the fact that the Thunderbolts is a cover for the fact that they're the new Avengers, right? And again, we know as far as the new Avengers lineup goes, Bucky is part of it. It's from Marvel Comics. Bucky is part of it. The Sentry is part of it. Black Widow is also part of it. And as far as we know, Yelena Belova will be the Black Widow going forward in this, which is cool. Again, the younger version. The whole thing is about younger people, by the way. I know this may unfortunately, for those, some people have a preference. Some people have a bias. And then that kind of turns into just we stuck, and then they talk down on them, and then they make fun of them and all that kind of thing, right? So, again, we have to watch. We don't go too far here, but again, there's some rumors out there that Chris Evans is going to reprise Captain America in some role, probably as the Hydra, Captain Hydra, I believe his name was, in the comics, where he's all Hail Hydra, which they gave you a clue to that when you watch Endgame, and he's in the elevator with the folks, and he actually says Hail Hydra to some of the Hydra members that are in the elevator with him, or some of the secret cooperative people there, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be good. I think again, like we said, like we always say, Marvel ain't dead yet, family, right? So hang in there, give them a chance. Again, those who don't like watching the shows, watch the shows, get involved, okay? Of all the things we watch, if you're going to go to these movies and you like these movies and all that kind of thing, watch the TV shows because they do give you some context, right? So that's that. We're just going to put that in there, and we will talk to you soon. All right, family. All right. Family, what it do this morning, May the 3rd, right? May the 3rd. We're almost there to May the 4th, and of course, a very serious celebration, which is May the 5th, man. We are in. Let's just do this here real quick while we on our feet. We standing on our feet this morning. We're not really doing something from a because today's reaction is the spoiler version of the Thunderbolts. We're going to go into some stuff that we saw in this movie. We're going to set up some things going forward into the rest of this movie. Yeah, there's some things to talk about. And actually, this is actually a good start off. Welcome in us who are almost 1,200 plus strong, who believe in, who think on, who love, who laugh about, right? Family that wants you to take life a little bit too seriously. Life needs to be taken seriously, don't get me wrong. But I said a little too seriously, right? Those of us who hope, hunger, and thirst for that which is a different view. Family, welcome in. Again, like we were talking about, of course, we start off talking about May, some things in May. And it's going to be centered around a lot of movies coming out in May. Some fairly good movies coming out in May. So for those, again, as it's getting warmer out, as we're getting, happy about just enjoying life here. Come out and enjoy a movie or two. Right? This is the name of the game, family, right? We've been in that house. This is the nature of it, right? It's been the winter and in this, the earlier part of the spring. And come on out, right? I know they got a Juliet and a Romeo and Juliet movie coming out. Again, I don't know how many different times you can keep talking about Romeo and Juliet. But that's coming out. Flight or Fight. Looks like a Josh Hartnett movie is there. Newer actor on the scene. Some of these people I don't know, so my apologies. Let's see. Shadow Force, that's with Kerry Washington. We all know Sister Kerry Washington. Also, Mark Strong is in that movie. I like Mark Strong. Let's see. So, Final Destination Bloodlines. Your boy likes that. Tony Todd will reprise his role as the creepy black dude, letting folks know about what's going on with death, right? And how death operates. How you breaking the cycle of death can screw you quite well. So that movie is coming out. That's May 16th, right? This is a new one here. I didn't see this one. Something about the Ninja Turtles thing. That's interesting. I'm a heavy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, so there's something about the rise of Leo with that one. I don't know if that's going to make the movie theaters or if that's going to be on streaming, but that's coming out. Mission Impossible. For those of us, May 23rd is going to be a poppin' day there. You're going to have a little bit of a battle between Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch. Again, everything about Ethan I like as a character. Whether folks don't like Tom Cruise and such, we understand. Okay, but yeah. So that that movie will be there. Some good stuff to see. Again, we're just talking about life, love. This is it, family. Again, they give you a lot. They give you a lot to get up in arms about. If we might just spin off here while we're talking about these different movies. There's some stuff going on with Sinners lately, and it's cool. I'm glad. I like to see this, right? There's some controversy. One in our Latino community, whether or not Ryan Coogler took that from a Latin vampire movie from back in the day. Some things about no Latin representation in the movie. Which again, those things have to be addressed. We'll see as we go along and look here how that is. Another one here is an upset with Haley Steinfeld, which is where we're going to have just a bit of just a little talk. I'm not going to try to hold y'all long, right? So we got to get through some things with this movie review. Family, when it comes to the mixed babies, we've always had this issue with the mixed baby. She's mixed, by the way, right? This comes from Massa. We have to say that very clearly. This kind of disdain, that sickness, was built on the plantation. Plantations across the Americas. This sickness happens over in Asia sometimes with who's a royal family member and all that kind of stuff, right? Empress families and stuff. We've seen it before, right? You see, they play with the trope with Mulan, with that kind of thing. Again, because you get too patriarchal that you come out of balance. So you see that kind of thing there with the woman to the man, that bias, right? You see it with How to Train a Dragon, right? Kids that don't have, that's because again, every person's personality is different, right? Whether child or adult. Again, what you learn and what you become as an adult, you get from being a child. So some people are playing a little bit of DID, a little cognitive dissonance, which is what we see in Thunderbolts, right? Shout out to Century one time. See, we're talking mental to this month. It's all about mental awareness. And people are not aware of their mental, family. You see it. You see it on the road. You see it in the store. You see it in the home. Again, what happens, as we have said on this podcast, which we will continue, what you see in the home comes out on the road, comes out in the store, right? Comes out in a movie theater where a person can take a firearm and kill people, right? Rest in peace to those who've lost their life, right? In Columbine, so on and so forth. Different places where people have lost that Western festival a couple of years ago. Brother posted up in a building, hurting people. Family, a lot of this is in the mind. It starts off in your mind. How you look at people. We need to look at them more equally than what Massa has taught us to be unequal. And we will have that conversation as we get further, because another one of these things is Military Appreciation Month, family. We appreciate our military, okay? Men and women who've been ripped from their homes, and I say ripped from their homes because when you talk about the draft, you had to go fight for Massa. Let's keep it 100. Again, the riot that occurred in New York occurred because our Irish brothers and sisters would not fight against Massa. They instead killed Negroes. But it was Massa that was putting them on the chopping block for whichever one of their superiors had more money. And whichever one had the more money won. That's the rule they made. So then they had to go fight. Irish people were pissed off at that. This is something you can look up. Type in Black Massacre in New York and it'll lead you right to it. Now, this is something we had hinted to, I think, once or twice on the podcast here. Right. This is for the people now, family. We got to keep that 100. Keep that at the forefront of your mind. You look up black breeding plantations, family. I don't have to say too much more than that. Right? These things are heartbreaking. This is how people operate. Same thing over our brothers and sisters in Asia. Since we're talking about sinners right now, we got to get this part nailed down. It's affecting the finances. It's affecting the health. It's all these things. You look at, let's just reiterate, right? We're talking about bringing things to your remembrance, which is what this Thunderbolts movie review. Economics, education. We're talking about the areas where people are active. As has been shown by a prominent black leader, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, governmental things. They call it politics, but governmental dealings is how we're going to say that, right? Governments of the world and how they deal. That is what politics is, because the word politic deals in the idea of talking about things, city and city-state. I break it down to say city and state, right? It's what's going on and where you living at, which is something we all supposed to be doing here. And because we don't, we shy away. We say we can't talk about these things. This is why they come right in. They come right in with that good proverbial bulldozer and they knock down all your stuff. Because again, if you're not going to deal with it, then they're just going to go on autopilot and they're going to go for their best interests. So, but what about you? But they don't, you got to keep talking. You got to keep showing up. Never mind. Religion. Number 7, sex. Oh, believe it, please. Oh, please believe it. Oh, believe it, please. People activity, one of them is sex. You've been given something from the scriptures that is out of balance, family. People have been looking at it a certain way. Again, we understand about abstinence, but for those who don't, what happens? And that's the part they don't talk about. They just reset right back to abstinence. Even in the fall of humans, God had a way out for those people, family. The Maker knows we're gonna screw it up. It was made that way, purposefully, and people still to this day cannot grasp it because they're hung up on this perfected God thing. There is a deeper thing here than just making a bunch of robots. That's what we're missing. Ain't worried about the disease. Start getting behind the people that can have cures for these diseases. Follow the natural laws in this life that will help your body as you continue on in the game. But they got you looking at the latest McDonald's menu, the latest Burger King one, at BK, right? They got cute jingles and everything to this stuff. I mean, they got us at we're the horse with the carrot in front, and they leading us around. But that horse was made to be that horse on its own. Shout out stallions. Shout out to wild stallions in the family one time, man. Run your path in your race with grace. Hey, right? War, aka what we call confusion. Nations battling is the way we break it down on this podcast, because war means confusion. That is definitely a people activity. The whole video game Assassin's Creed Shadows is based off the people activity inside Japan, where Oda Nobunaga is going around just destroying. Now, we're not going to put it on the level of European occupation, of course, as they call it, colonialization, where in the 1200s you went away from your Anglo battles and then you took that thing worldwide, right? There's a difference that you have to come to grips with. Same thing with Haley Steinfeld in this movie, which is where we're getting a lot of the pushback. It's time for people to accept the thing, own that thing. Just like black folks allowing black folks to be taken into slavery. Just say what it is. If Joseph could be sold out by his brothers, that would make it no different for the Negro. This is the silly stuff that we go through with Israel in this pro-Israel mess. If Israel, this is not anti-Semitic. Man, I'm hyped today, man. These are some of the things, again, that you see in the Thunderbolts movie. They had to get over their own predisposed thought process to be able to fight the Sentry. To be able to help the Sentry, matter of fact. Because there's two personalities with the Sentry. The Void, who was murking people. That dude was murking. That thing was Star Wars like, and instead of the Force dragging something to you or pushing something from you, this dude was just sending people to their death, man. Just sending them to a reality where they get to see themselves suffer over and over, which was such a powerful thing when you look at what happened with Yelena. All right, this is just taking a spin off from this here and talking about this movie for a little bit. You see Yelena, man, go in the void and have to deal with watching her hand unknowingly as a child. If anybody knows about that in their life, man, the pain that your elders, that your parents put you through in their sick game of playing with massa and bring you think you don't pay the price for what your parents put you through? Oh, yes, you do. And that thing will carry down to the third and fourth generation, no different than what the Bible tells you. It's real. And if you don't break away from that mess, if you don't do the internal work, again, this is Mental Awareness Month. If you don't do the internal work to let go of all of that crap, we're going to say it that way on purpose, you are going to suffer, and your children and so on and so forth will suffer. Just like Haley Steinfeld is going through this predisposed bias. She can't listen. Stand up against the wrong that your ancestors did. That's part of My God. That's part of you. Why we keep acting like we can get away from something that is part of us, family. Mess that went on in the Scottish families, that went on in Irish families, that went on in English families, that went on in German families, that went on in French families, that went on in Italian families is part of you. We keep doing this. We're United States citizens. we're Americans. No, the Americans were put in internment camps, i.e. reservations. The Americans were ripped away from their homes in the islands by Christopher Columbus and taken as slaves, right? Are we gonna act like what we're reading in the history books is how they say? How does Donald Trump say it? Fake news. It's time to grip the thing by its neck and breathe life. Take a hold of the responsibility of it, family. We all got one. Make amends for that thing. Be good, be kind to each other, because there has been much unkindness and evil done in humanity. The only way you fight that thing, like they did in the Thunderbolts, is by grasping a hold of their destiny. Yeah, they ain't got no superpowers, and yeah, a lot of them punch and fight, and that's what was gritty about the thing, because there's no superpower thing really going on, except for the super soldier serum with John Walker, right, and the Red Guardian. We get that, right, and the training there with Bucky and all that. We get that, right? Each one of them was making an atonement for their sins. Family, when do we start doing that? When do we do that? We just come up all for Easter, family. When do we do that? We got Memorial Day coming up, and you know they're gonna wave the captor flag real high, man. They believe in this U.S. mess. No, nope, not to the point where you forget about your brother and sister around you that are dying, that are hurting, that are being. I'm not even gonna get into the deportation thing. I ain't even gonna get into the migration thing, because again we. we're gonna try to stay here, man. Haley Steinfeld's grandfather is part Filipino and black, family. So why we use this word African American again? All Negroes is not coming from Africa, so we leave that alone. Right? I know people like to hold on to that, but again, your dark skinned brother and sister. You look, there's certain Indian tribes, because they keep playing with the word what is native and what isn't. You got dark skinned folks that were tribes that were living with other native tribes, that when the colonizer came here, when the invader came here and they looked at them, they called them something else, family. They called them black because they were. Never mind. Let's see what else in the Thunderbolts here. Again, this thing here, you're gonna have to deal with the mix. There's so many mixed children today, family. And guess what? They're the mixture of both. They're the mixture of both cultures. You have to square away with that in your heart and mind. I know. Escapism and DID is so real, man. We watched it with Robert Reynolds, aka Bob. Shout out Bob one time, man. Dude played it good. He played it good. He played the fighting yourself. Did y'all see that scene where he's just punching away? And the more you, Jesus, yo, man, like this movie was really good. I can understand why it got what it got. It tied in Captain America: Brave New World, like talking about the Red Hulk. Thank you, Marvel, for finally getting back to like some roots here, some grassroots that got us where we're at. A team-up movie where we're seeing people. We ain't seen that in a minute, right? I mean, yeah, you get a little bit there with like Joaquin and Sam Wilson. You get that kind of thing, which again is so overplayed because in the mind, people are not even paying attention to that. Latinos and black people have been fighting each other too long. Like, for instance, the critique that's happening in this movie, Sinners. Let that go. And stand with your black brother and sister. Matter of fact, you know what? Wherever the Latin director is, you make a movie here. I'm being for real now. Make a movie. Let go of this. They are playing off your own division. Make a movie here where it goes, talk about Montezuma. Go back and use the information that's out there. Right? Before they remove it, because this man playing with a whole lot of stuff. El Presidente, they when they talk about make America great again, man, they talking about a time where they wiped away their sins. And they was just sinning all over the place. Let's not act like that wasn't. We want to talk about sin. So, make a movie there where you show the unity between the Negro and the Latin brother and sister. Put this mess to bed, because there was a point where we were before Europe came calling, and technically still are the closest of kin, family. This is just real. We share an affinity just like we do with the rest of the human race. They had to grasp a hold of destiny. You're seeing Century, was what I was just talking about. You're seeing Century fight himself. Lord, how we fight ourselves. I told y'all from the beginning, as far as doing this podcast and making the podcast, and having the boldness to fighting fear internally, family. To stand up in boldness for whatever may come, to speak truth. And this all I'm not giving you conjecture. I'm not giving you conspiracy. We're giving you either historical record, or we're showing you things in the Bible that people walk over on purpose to keep you bound. Keep you going back and giving money, and you never give to yourself. Don't you think, what would 10% of the tithe be? Money in your pocket. You could pay off car notes. You could do a whole lot of things, family. Giving and tithing, we need to really relook at. I'm sorry, okay? Because the idea is not for family. It's not for families to. And you can give me the whole thing. God will bless your finances. We heard that already. Again, and a lot of people who've been giving tithes ain't got nothing. Oh, what you gonna say? That's because they don't spend their money correctly? Well, that sounds just the same as how people don't have their money in the, I won't call it the real world, but we're going to use that, in the real world, right? And then they tell you you're not working hard enough, or you spend your, no money means, no money mean no money mean no money. How long we going to keep dancing around that, y'all? There's a thing I just saw online talking about the CEO of Target got his stuff slashed by 45%. Ooh, cried me a river, my man. How much money you still living on, sir? See, again, they make sure that they time in on this. It's actually a thing they talk about with the skull of the Negro, right? Because again, they've been studying you. See, study them. And when I say them, I'm talking about those who mean you harm. If they are studying you to exploit you, study them so your exploits are not exploited. That's why we did that episode, family. That's why I named it that. On the inside, that's what's dry. That's the feeling that you get with that. This is the same thing with Shedeur Sanders. Make your own league. You don't got to worry about what they tell you. LeBron James is worried about things with Bronny and all that kind of stuff. You got to go get in Stephen A. Smith's face and all this stuff. Again, if the boy can't play basketball and should be an executive, then so be it. Or if you want him playing basketball, why they got to get your own league? See, this goes back into the Negro leagues. They don't want you around. They want you around because you hopping around like a monkey out there. Just say what it is. There are certain people who do not think like that. But do you think that the crux of the NBA and the NFL and the MLB are actually for the Negro? Not when it's shown historically. Wait. So they automatically, these people again that are generating the money, you really think that they have your best interest at heart? Because there's a couple of, listen, this is the same excuse. So we're talking about eliminate the excuses. You got a couple of black billionaires and there's a couple of black people in government, KJ, and stop doing that. We ain't looking for the crumbs. This is about equality. True definitions of justice where you stand on your own. And you cannot stand on your own in people that want to stand on top of you. That's not how that works. The Thunderbolts movie, y'all, these are the things that it brings out when you watch it. Some people don't look at it that way. That's fine. We're just talking about it from my perspective. I thought it was cool. I mean, Taskmaster getting shot. If you listen to the underground and spoilers and all that kind of thing, we knew that was coming, right? So they don't want a woman. Didn't want to revamp it as a man. They really didn't put that much into it. Although she goes through a lot of pain in Black Widow, right? Because this is where we meet her, is in Black Widow. It's a good fight, you know. She was good, you know. Again, that Red Room thing, man, what they talk about in Black Widow, that's horrible. But again, you're just pulling from life. Women been manipulated. We just talked about it with this Black Bleeding Room. That's black women, right? Again, we've already talked about the white women. What I know people kind of mix them in with white supremacy, and we're not saying that it hasn't happened. Again, most of these pseudo rapes of white women is what's caused black towns to be destroyed all over this country. That's just part of the history, right? And we're not taking away from when these things happen. We just spoke about this with Shannon Sharp. Okay, hey, you 56 with a 20-year-old white girl, man. Again, we gotta do better. Okay, we gotta do better. No means no, family, right? No means no. Okay, so we're not taking away from that, but we know it's used as an excuse. Come on. If you're being honest about it, we know these things. Again, this is not against for our female audience. Understand, we know as men, of course we know the horror. We talk about it constantly and we'll continue to on this podcast. But listen, the boy that or the girl cried wolf, man, this what works for the boys and girls is the same. We understand that. We're humans. Okay? But at the same time, men have done some horrible atrocities to women, right? So the whole Red Room thing there, and this breeding of women to be killers and all that kind of thing, because you wouldn't suspect a woman to kill you, which is silly. Because if you was aware of yourself, you know both men and women can do some of the most horrible things, right? So that was cool to see. Yelena hopping right off the building, man. I mean, right from the jump. You know, she's just talking about how life is meaningless, family. And for those of us who commit suicide, right? Those of us who might be thinking about it, your life has purpose. Listen. We talk about this. We talk about this subject a lot on this podcast because it's a real thing. People are going through this, family around you. We've talked about it when we do our end of year reviews and people who have died by suicide, right? Drug overdoses in all different ways, you know what I mean? It's horrible to watch, family. It's horrible to see the decline that we see in our families, man. It's just what it is. We got to show love, man. This is the balancing to all this hate. Is love, family. It's not simping. That's as strong as can be. Cats come up on you because you being nice or whatever, and they want to get flexy with you, man. You got to know how to defend yourself. That's a real thing. Stop not teaching your kids, talking about child and adults and what happens with the child. Start teaching your kids to defend themselves, man. These classes need to be full of folks. Self-defense, MMA, martial arts. Learn that thing, man. You got to know what's going on in this world. And it's a good discipline tool. Some of us are not. Listen, family. For the defenses in the mind start kicking in. We understand everybody ain't for everything. All right, we get that. So if it ain't for you, that's cool. Find another way, however you live your life in best protection for yourself. But for those of us who are, man, let me tell you something, man. You're talking about a discipline of disciplines. Whether it be boxing, that's what they call it, the sweet science, because it is a science on how to. Never mind. We'll let it go. All right. Before we picking up guns and shooting, what about with your two hands first? Anyway. So yeah, you see Yelena just hop off that building, man. She just whoop. And that's not laughing about it, but that's how it is, man. Now of course they peel it back and she's with the parachute and all that kind of thing. So that doing an assignment and stuff that again, let me do this right. Let me do this right because yesterday I don't know if I got her name right, so I don't want to be misquoting. Let me make sure that we saying it right. Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, man. We talking Elaine. That Goki dancing. Hey, you gotta listen. And every culture's got a little bit of it here and there. We know there's something to take the top of the class, okay? But in reality, people got rhythm in them on a certain level. Okay. In her case, in that episode of Seinfeld, man, it comes out in a certain way. Oh, it's a good episode to watch, family. 60-year-old woman doing the thing. We got to stop. We got to stop talking down to our older people, man. They lead the way. We learn from them as they pass on, then we take that baton and run with it. Master got us doing it another way where we down people, which we should not, right? John Walker's story, especially by the time the void touched him, man, whew, you know. But again, this is when you're driven. If you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, again, who's fighting for the shield? Man, ain't nobody fighting for that shield. And Sam Wilson had such a powerful speech at the end of that thing, man. Like, dudes, you know, one of these crooked government officials, as we say, right? Or as people use the terminology, politician, right? He's sitting there telling him about what Sam don't know. Sam like, man, I'm a black man wearing the colors. What you mean I don't know? That is a real sentiment, family. What do you think about your black brother and sister in this country? Constantly being told to get the hell out. They was brought here. Our African brothers and sisters were brought here. A lot of mixing was going on. So this is why when they start sitting there saying African American, that's why I'll say black American, so on and so forth, right? There's different terms now at this point that again, in my understanding, that I understand. So the terminology they gave us to talk with. No, I'm good. I'm good on speaking the captor's language. To each their own. But for me, yeah, I'm good on that. All right, the classification thing is messed up, man. You go back and you look at Walter Pleckard and Paper Genocide. This is real. They came over just calling people different names, just because you don't want to give recognition to certain people. I mean, this is wild, man. This is, you know. And before Walter Pleckard, again, we talked about how they operated in Mexico with Montezuma. They're switching up names. Why are you switching up the name for? Call them what they are, because you don't want to give credit. Because On the Mind was getting the workforce back then, so they didn't have to work the land, family. When you have a plan in mind, you are not looking at that thing from yesterday to the next day. You're looking down the line, years in advance. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. That's how they look at life. We know. We live for since it's the weekend, we live for the weekend. What are you living for the weekend for? Live for the third weekend down from there. See, we're talking about thinking through the game. Of course, they're using their thinking power improperly. But it's a way they could use it, of course. So, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Sis is going to be around in these shows, in these movies for a little bit, because she was too damn good, y'all. as a baddie, as they say, right? As a baddie, man, again, we're talking bad girl, bad boys, right? These evil leaders and such. She did, and she did it with a smile. She got that smile, right? Kill him with a smile, man. So that was good to see. Century killed it. You know, again, that whole fighting yourself thing is such a powerful dynamic, man. And it took love. It took the love of the Thunderbolts, man, to hug that man back to y'all. I know. I see, again, very simple acts of kindness. When they tell you that, that's real, man, because you don't understand the power of kindness. I'm telling you, spiritual things we don't put the proper respect where we should, though. So those are some of the things there, man. Go see that, right? If you got your 15, 14, you know, they too old for their own britches, as parents will say, bring them to go see that movie. This is your brother, your uncle, your cousin, your friend, your neighbor telling you, go, take them to it. It's time to stop hiding things from the children. It's time for them to grow up, family. We got them in toxic enough type situations. It's time for show them the truth of life, right? You also have let's see, what's another one of those things in this movie that you have? Of course, there's the void. There's Julia Dreyfus. The end of the movie. I would be remiss with ending this without not talking about the end of the movie, right? So, of course, we are Thunderbolts! Yo, the Red Guardian, man, God, this dude he is good. He adds the right kind of humor in a movie that is very, 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 like, down. You know, kind of like how they make fun of DC movies where they're really down. I mean, this is a really down movie, though. And in the triumph, you know, Red Guardian with the limo. I got the limo. I found it, and I know my purpose, and I came to pick you guys up while they're in the desert and all that kind of thing. I mean, yeah, this is good. This is a good movie, man. The Fantastic Four's rocket, spaceship, flying into. Now we know this upcoming movie we're going to see. I'm talking about the movies in May. The movies you're going to see coming up in July. Which, please go see Superman. Let go of the bias. Just go see the movie, and then we'll judge it from there. That's number one, because you can almost kind of see that coming. Hopefully they do better than The Flash. We'll see. But when the Fantastic Four comes out, I believe it's July 11th, right? When that movie comes out, Everything is in the 1960s. They're the only superhero group, from what they're saying, in the 1960s. Reed Richards is a genius, right? As we've seen from the trailer, Sue is pregnant. Franklin Richards, I believe, is the baby that's the baby that they're going to have. Okay, which in the comics, powerful being, right? I mean, coming from Reed and Sue, you would assume, right? We'll see the brotherhood dynamic and sisterhood dynamic between Sue and Johnny. We'll see how that works. And of course, you got good old Ben Grimm, right? AKA The Thing. It's clobbering time. So it's going to be good to see. It's a good time for comic book fans to see. But again, at the end of the movie, how the hell did they make it to how did they make it to like today's world if they was in the 60s? So we'll see how all that works, how time travel works, so on and so forth. It's going to be good, family. It's going to be good. Buckle in. Marvel's not dead yet, right? Thank y'all for walking this road with me today. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. And we will talk to y'all soon. And as always, and until next time, look to find the beauty in a different view.